Street. From the face of prime time Saturday night telly to the cobbles of Coronation Street. Who are we talking about? Of course, TV legend Les Dennis. Well, he has seemingly done it all since he first appeared on our screen, say it quietly, 50 years ago.
Well, now, 50 years on, he's getting to fulfil a lifetime ambition. Les is treading the boards as one of Shakespeare's most iconic characters, Malvolio, in Twelfth Night. He's going to join us in just a moment. But first, let's have a look at Les's career so far.
I mean, what was that impression you used to do?
Impressions, I did loads.
What was it?
Mavis Riley, Coronation Street.
Do that.
I don't really know.
That's great. Yeah, I know. It is good.
I was working as a waiter in a cocktail bar.
100 people and asked them to name a way of toasting someone. Michelle.
Over a fire.
Good evening and welcome to Mastermind. Could we have the first contestant, please?
Hello, Betty. Oh, Natalie.
Afternoon.
Who are you?
I'm here about the gas leak.
Oh, no, Vera. Why? What happened?
He said he'd been with Mike Baldwin all night.
Oh. Well, what makes you think he was lying?
I've been with Mike Baldwin all night.
Some are born great. Some achieve greatness. And some have greatness thrust upon them.
Oh, it's great to watch that, isn't it? We are joined by Les Dennis and the director of Twelfth Night, Jimmy Fairhurst. Good morning to both of you. Thank you for coming in.
Lovely to be here.
Les, how do you feel when you watch back at 50 years of your career?
It's, you know, I look at my CV sometimes in the programme and think, have I really done all that? Because it's quite diverse, isn't it? Yeah.
And Jimmy, it was seeing some of those clips, seeing Les in action over the years, that persuaded you that he was perfect for this role in Shakespeare?
Yeah, well, to be fair,
it was extras, wasn't it?
It was.
With Ricky Gervais?
Yeah, well, when Shakespeare North said, do you want to do Twelfth Night? I was like, I know just the man, let's see if I can get him, because no one does pathos and comedy better than Les.
Absolutely. What was it about the Ricky Gervais? What was it about extras?
Well, it was two things. One is how brilliantly he embodied the sort of the humanity of it and the humour of it and understood the logic, but at the same time, it's the way that the whole nation went. We love Les Dennis. I mean, that's a nation in the whole, having Les Dennis. The audience love him.
It's tricky playing yourself. You know, Ricky Gervais said, would you like to come and play a twisted, demented version of yourself? That's how he pitched it to me.
Oh, it was
We just saw a clip there, though, of this Twelfth Night,
Yeah.
you as Malvolio, and it's not classic Shakespeare production, is it? It's a modern take.
It's a modern take. It's set in festival time. Jimmy's best to explain this, because it was your idea, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I was fortuitously, I've had a interest in other life. I've played rugby league, and then I was a tour manager for my brother's band, Standing Man, and we toured the world with The Who, opening for The Who, which was an experience itself. So that backstory and sort of world was an easy. When you read Twelfth Night, it's the most musical of Shakespeare's plays. It's the most comic, and so that music industry lends itself perfectly. And we were, funny enough, my brother was opening for The Who in Knowsley at the stadium. And someone was trying to get past and go, I've got AAA. And I'm stood next to Johnny Vegas. And a tour manager went, well, you're missing a letter, because it was a quadruple pass to get through. And I thought, he's a job's worth tour manager, of course he is.
Yeah, so I'm tour manager for Olivia, the rock star.
Oh, that's great.
So we've done it that way. Yeah.
And have you modelled the tour manager on anyone? Any big male names within the...
a lot of Malvolios in my time. I can't tell you in particular.
I was just reading the notes that you, when you were 17, you went to see Twelfth Night, starring...
I went to see Twelfth Night with the school, and at that time I was reading it, didn't understand it, but then it just came to life. There was an actor called Emrys James playing Feste, who just blew me away. And I Googled it recently thinking, who else was in that cast? And it was, Viola was played by Judi Dench.
Amazing. Wow.
Dame Judy, not then. And Malvolio was Donald Sinden. So big shoes to fill. And of course, Ken Dodd famously played Malvolio in 1971 at the Liverpool Playhouse. So.
And was it something that you'd always seen yourself? I mean, your career has gone an arc, and you've ended up here at Shakespeare. Was it something you always wanted to do?
From 17 to 70, I've got there, yeah. It was something I wanted to do, and I made a conscious effort when I did Family Fortunes, because that took 3 weeks of the year to film. I used to then go and do a play at, you know, a regional theatre for, I don't know, 250 quid a week because I could afford to. And I learnt my craft that way.
So for 17-year-old Les, how important was that trip to the theatre?
Amazingly important, and it fired my interest. And then I used to go and see everything at the Everyman in Liverpool, which was at that time had Jonathan Pryce, Anthony Sher, Bernard Hill, Pete Postlethwaite, Julie Walters. They were all at that, you know, at the beginning of their careers, and so I saw and absorbed theatre and loved it.
But Jimmy, I guess that's what you're trying to achieve with this for the current 17-year-olds, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think, you know, for a lot of... I always say that for Not Too Tame, who's my production company in the co-pro with Shakespeare North, but we try to be the antidote for theatre. You know, a lot of people have been with theatre and Shakespeare, they've had an experience that hasn't sort of has put them off it or go, oh, that's not for the likes of us. But then if you look at the likes of Stephen Graham and Jodie Comer, like Jodie Comer says, if it wasn't for Stephen Graham, someone who looks like me and sounds like me, I wouldn't know that this is possible.
Yeah.
So we're making theatre accessible and making it raucous, and you know it doesn't have to be voyeuristic. And with people like Les or David Morrissey, who was involved in the last one, or Nadine Shah, who's a musical artist, like it's about breaking down those barriers and going, no, it is for you. And also when people, what's really lovely about, I mean, the show at the moment where every night is a standing ovation, which is lovely to hear. But also people
every
go...
night, wow.
Every night.
So far, I'm like, we can't miss it now. But
compulsory.
Yeah, but people are saying, both young and old, are going, oh, it's the first time I've understood Shakespeare.
My daughter is here with us today, Ellie. She wanted to come. She came to the show last night, which was her second time. And she said, I've never really understood it, and I'm loving it. And she wants to come and see it again.
Oh, that's great.
Which is great.
Yeah. That is great. And it's because theatre can seem a little bit, as you say, standoffish, and also quite expensive for people. You know, stops people going.
You've got a great ethos with pay what you decide.
Yeah, well, one of the things that it's really important. Last time we opened the Cockpit Theatre at Prescott with Midsummer Night's Dream with myself and Matthew Dunster directing The Godfather. And what we did was there were 10,000 people through the door, and 1,000 of those people had never been to a theatre before, never mind to see a Shakespeare. And so we're trying to push that even further, and we're doing pay what you decide tickets for Knowsley and Warrington, both supported by the council.
So how does that work? You literally just...
Yeah, well, it's a subsidised... Well, basically, it's if people were living in certain postcodes, so when they call up and they go, this is my postcode, then they go, OK, you're eligible for pay what you decide tickets. And the theatres and the production companies and the Arts Council and the council themselves will subsidise some of that money so that actually it's a lower cost price for those people. And it's great because when they do come, I call it a bit like stealth theatre. It's a bit like Hansel and Gretel, and you bring them on these little morsels and they go, oh, this is for me. And that's so empowering. They go, oh, come back. And when you've got a venue like Shakespeare North Playhouse on your doorstep, it's unbelievable. It's like the TARDIS has just been dropped in this beautiful Jacobean playground. It's unreal. And
do you have a different reaction from different audiences? Maybe audiences that have never been to the theatre before, never seen Shakespeare before?
I think Ken Dodd used to say audiences differ. He used to say you can tell a joke in Liverpool and they won't laugh in Manchester. They can't hear it. So,
Steady.
Oh, Joe. But yeah, I think the audiences do vary. But it's lovely to see an audience that is new to it be really excited. That's why pantomime is so important, because your kids come along to pantomime and it's their first experience of the theatre, and there's a chance there that, you know, if they love it, they'll come back again.
And a Shakespeare play like Twelfth Night, there's a lot of that, which is kind of panto, isn't it?
Yes, it is. We really have... there's audience participation in our version as well.
Well, it's really important that the audience should feel as though that they can interact as much or as little as they want, and it's the ensemble's responsibility to guide them. It's like a good house party. We've all been to a good house party and a bad house party, and we apply those same rules to the work that we make, and the 8-strong ensemble, which are fantastic. 8
actors playing the whole, some actors playing 2 characters.
Keep them busy.
Costume changes, actually, by Ruben, who plays Orlando, and Sir Andrew Aguecheek, does a costume change where he walks off the stage and reappears seconds later as the other character.
It gets its own...
And the audience just go, wow, that's amazing.
Well, at the same time, Eddie Izzard's playing every character at the moment in
yes,
Shakespeare, isn't he? I
absolutely,
mean,
yeah.
you could do that next.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely.
Talk about audience interaction. There is one subject that's got our audience entirely rattled this morning.
Yeah.
After all the wet weather we've had. Slugs.
Slugs.
You're a keen gardener, aren't you?
I love gardening, yeah, when I get the chance. Yeah, slugs, they're the bane of my life.
This year bad?
Slugs are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have the lettuce thrust upon them.
Brilliant.
A slug Shakespeare mashup. Where else would you get that? Lovely to see you both.
Lovely to see you.
Great
Really
to have
lovely
you
to
here.
see you. Thank you so much. And Leslie's appearing at 12th Night at Prescott's Shakespeare North Playhouse until June the 29th. Easy for me to say.
I'm glad you said it.